planning to set up the sawmill over here. So my setup is this. So I have the excavator set up with all the logs that I'm milling, just placed around here. And then I'll be able to just lift the logs and put them directly onto the sawmill instead of placing it here. But I have a maple tree up there. I think there's plenty of margin, but I'm just gonna cut that down first just to be 100% sure that it won't hit anything. There's a sibling tree on the same stump that is leaning quite heavily over the phone line that you can see barely on the right of the picture. So I had to make the cut quite a bit above ground. And given the height of the cut, it was a little bit hard to reach. So my plan of attack was to cut a pretty wide open face, so the tree had a chance to fall for a longer period of time before potentially twisting or turning. So this obviously is way far from where I'm setting up the saw, but better safe than sorry, I guess. With the hinge being maybe, I guess, a little bit too far in the back there, it's a little bit hard to reach it, so I could have been more forward, but then again. So now that's taken care of, I'm just gonna go down and assemble the chainsaw mill. Let's see how we can get this going. Carrying all the parts for the mill for one person is relatively easy. The assembled guide rail is the heaviest single component, but it's still light enough to carry around, at least for a few hundred meters or yards. After I roughly laid out all the pieces, I gathered a few planks to put underneath the log lifters to make sure they were stable. I also brought along a drill and a few screws to make sure it would hold together while I was moving things around, and I roughly leveled everything up. The front bar is what connects the two log lifters, and you can use it as a guide to figure out where the other log lifter will go. After that's done and roughly aligned, you can just slide on the guide rail on top of the two log lifters. Then it's just a matter of a final leveling up and making sure that nothing is twisted. This process so far is very straightforward, and you can set it up in a matter of minutes. The next part is what frustrates me. Both the bar and the rail is fastened to the log lifters using 8 individual nuts and bolts that requires tooling on both sides, and they sit in some awkward and a little bit hard to reach places. In a later video, I'll show you some simple modifications that I did to make this process much simpler by using some through bolts with wing nuts that doesn't require any tooling at all to set up. So here's the setup completed. I forgot to turn off the ignition of the excavator last time I used it, so the battery was flat. But in the next video I'll show you the actual milling process.